Great. Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. We're going to start standing today. Mix it up a little bit. I think I'm going to take this earrings off because it's hitting my microphone here. There we go. So feet hips width distance, toes spread nice and wide, like you're trying to fit into a pair of shoes that are too big. Notice where the weight is distributed on your feet. So you want to be even left to right. Put little bends in your knees. And then spine nice and long, like the top of your head is pulling towards the ceiling. Shoulders relaxed, facial muscles relaxed. Belly engaged at like maybe 40%, right? Enough to support your back and help you be tall. Take an inventory of your body, see how things feel today. I like to start at the top of my head and work my way down. Notice if you have any areas that feel especially compressed or especially spacious. Maybe some parts feel heavy or light, full or empty. Just kind of check in. Sometimes it's nice to compare one side to the other side. Do your shoulders feel the same today? Do your hips feel the same? It's okay if they don't, but pay attention. We have an equinox coming up here. And so it's a nice time in our yoga practice to think about balance. It's a time to be busy and a time to relax. Time to be joyous, a time to sit with grief. And like almost always, our life is reflected on our yoga mat. So physically, a lot of our balance comes from our core, from our belly. So you can notice here, close your eyes if it's comfortable for you. Lean a little bit back and a little bit forward in the standing pose. And notice your center, your belly, how it kicks in to keep you upright. You can lean a little side to side and notice the same thing. Your next inhale will bring our arms up overhead. Interlace the fingers and release the index finger. Strong arms, soft shoulders, and keep that left foot really heavy as you stretch up and over to the right. So now we're feeling the side of our core kick in to keep us upright and balanced. Breathing in and out through your nose, send your breath into this left side body. And then picking your ribs away from the waist, sending your breath to the spaces between your left ribs. Couple more breaths here. Slowly come up to center. Let's release the arms and give the shoulders a few circles. You can move them in circles together or one at a time, whatever feels best for you today. Release the arms, stretch the wrists, stretch the fingers. And we'll get into the other side of the body. So inhale, arms overhead. Interlace the fingers, release the index fingers, heavy right foot as you lean left. Nice time to check in with the jaw. Make sure you're not holding any extra tension there. And then just like the other side, we're going to use our breath to intensify the stretch a little bit from the inside. So sending your breath to the spaces between the ribs, to the right side of the waist. Nice and long. Big, deep, controlled breaths in and out through the nose. And again, keeping that right foot really heavy, grounded into the mat. Your next inhale, come back to center. Exhale, release the arms. This time we're going to interlace the fingers behind us. Straighten the arms and open the heart and throat forward. Sending your breath into the chest here, making a little extra room for your heart and your lungs to do their jobs. Release the hands, come back up to vertical, and we're going to treat ourselves to a nice forward fold here. So bend the knees a little bit more. Let the torso come forward. Your variation is up to you. You could have your hands on your knees. You could have the torso resting on the thighs and your hands on the floor. Maybe somewhere in between. And if it's comfortable on your neck here, head hangs heavy. You can even move the head a little side to side, letting gravity traction out the neck a little bit. Root the feet into the ground to slowly roll up to standing again. We're going to ground the right foot. Take the left foot out to the side. If you're working on balance or maybe recovering from an ankle injury, the foot could still be on the floor a little bit, maybe with the toe pointed. Otherwise, we'll bring that left leg out to the side and bring the arms big here. Playing with your balance, maybe going a little more to the side, a little back up. Again, noticing how your belly works to keep you upright. And then a challenge, keep that leg up as you come back. And we'll take a big step back with that left foot. We'll set the left heel on the mat. We're coming into a warrior two. So we'll turn a bit to the left here and we'll gaze over the front hand. Inhale here. On the exhale, we'll straighten the front leg and bring the arms together overhead. Gaze at our hands. Inhale, bend the front knee, warrior two, looking over the front hand. Exhale, straighten. Back and forth with your own breath at your own pace. Slow and controlled. Making sure when that front knee bends, it goes straight forward. It doesn't cave in or out to the side. Next inhale brings you into warrior two. This time we're going to keep the bend in the knee, flip the front hand, and just from the waist up, we tip back into reverse warrior, sometimes called a peaceful warrior. From the front of the waist, we hinge back up to a warrior two, and let's step that back foot up to meet the front. Mountain pose. Again, feet hips width distance, nice and tall. And then we'll move to the other side. So grounding that left foot, taking the right out to the side. You can be totally off the mat. You can just point the toe and be a little out to the side. And then big arms here. So we're taking up lots of space. You can play a little bit, move a little side to side. Just working on our balance. And then we'll come back to vertical. Keep that foot up if you can and step back to a warrior two over here. So again, the hips are going to kind of open to the side here. We'll gaze over that left hand in the front. Knee forward, not caved in or out. Inhale. Exhale, straighten the leg, arms overhead, gaze at the hands. Inhale, warrior two. Back and forth at your own pace. Let yourself get a little lost in the movement here, like dance steps you don't have to work too hard to remember. And see if you can really match the movement with the breath. So when you're halfway to a warrior two, your lungs are halfway full. When you're halfway to the extension, your lungs are half empty. Synchronizing movement to breath like this is a really nice way to get your mind out of a rut, right? Sometimes our record gets stuck, you know. Next inhale, warrior two. Flip the front hand, keep the knee bent, lean back to reverse warrior. So our left collarbone here is going to be really light. That comes from an engagement of the core. And it's that engagement of the core, the length of the torso that keeps our low back safe in these back bends. From the front of the waist, we hinge back up to a warrior two, and then we'll step back up to a mountain pose, facing forward. Inhale, arms out and up. Maybe a little back bend here. Exhale, hands come through heart center. Bend your knees as they come to the floor. And then we'll step the legs back, bring the knees down to a tabletop. So hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Fingers spread nice and wide to protect the wrists. On the inhale, our belly drops towards the mat, hips and head float to the sky. And on an exhale, the back of our heart floats, hips and head hang heavy. Maybe stay here for a couple breaths. Let gravity lengthen the neck. Continue movement when you're ready. Inhaling, lengthening the front body. Exhaling, lengthening in the back. Back and forth, your own pace with your own breath. And if you'd like to add a little bit of your own movement here, this is a great time to do that. You could take the hips and the shoulders a little more side to side, a little bit in a spiral. Maybe take the weight a little bit back and a little forward. Just be curious. Come back to neutral. We'll take the right leg back and the left arm forward. Back foot is flexed like you're going to shoot a laser beam out of your heel. Staying nice and long here. Inhale. Exhale, bring the knee towards the elbow. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, knee towards the elbow. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, knee towards the elbow. Let's hold here for a couple breaths. Maybe bringing the knee a little closer to the belly. Set the right knee on the floor and let's come up to a kneeling mountain. Tuck your toes for a little added support here. And let's bring the arms out to cactus, fingers spread nice and wide. And really think about pulling the elbows away from each other here. On the inhale, we'll lift the collarbones a bit. Exhale, just relax the back. Stay here and breathe. Just undoing some of the hunching over we do during the day. Bring yourself back to vertical and we'll take our right leg forward. So back knee on the floor. Going into a low lunge here. You can have the toes still tucked if you want a little extra stability, or you can have the top of the foot on the mat. Sink the hips forward. So we're really bringing some space to the front of the left hip. And we'll take our arms up to the sky. Strong arms, soft shoulders. Not pulled down, just soft. Going into some twists for our thoracic spine here. Take your left hand to the mat. And on the inhale, we open up the right arm to the sky. On the exhale, turn towards the mat. Bring that right hand behind the right leg. Fingertips over to the left elbow. Inhale, open. Exhale, turn towards the mat. Right fingertips to the left elbow. Inhale, open. Let's hold here. Give that right wrist a few circles. Turn towards the mat, frame the front foot, bring that right knee back to meet the left and come up to your kneeling mountain. Toes tucked. Second cactus arm camel here. Arms out to the side, fingers spread nice and wide, taking up lots of space horizontally. Inhale, lift the collarbones. Exhale, relax the back. You can stay here. If you'd like to go a little bit further, you could take your fists to your low back for support and maybe go a little bit deeper into that back bend. Nothing huge. What's most important here is your low back feels safe, no pain. You want to keep those collarbones nice and light. Slowly come back to vertical. Let's sit back on our heels for a couple breaths just to get our back used to regular life. You can stretch the bottoms of our feet here. Take your index fingers and kind of pull your pinky toes a little bit out to the side. This doesn't feel great. We're stretching that real hard to stretch tissue on the bottom of the feet. Whew, okay, that's enough of that. Hands on the floor in front of us. Flip the feet over and maybe just little taps of the feet onto the floor. Just to apologize to them for that big stretch. All right. Go into our low lunge on the other side. So bring the torso back up to a kneeling mountain. This time that left leg is going to come forward. Sink the hips forward first. So we're really concentrating on bringing space to the right hip. Left knee is straight forward, not caving in or out. Once you feel set up for success here, you can bring the arms overhead. Relax the shoulders. Big, deep, controlled breaths in and out through the nose. Soft face, soft jaw. And then we'll go into our twist here. So bring that right hand to the floor. Inhale, open up the left arm to the sky. Exhale, turn towards the mat, left hand behind the knee, fingers over to the right elbow. Inhale, open. Exhale, turn towards the floor. Inhale, open. Let's stay here. Give the wrist a little bit of love. Turn towards the mat, frame that front foot, bring the left knee back to meet the right, and we'll take the hips over to the side, make our way to a seat. Perfect. We'll start with the right knee up, left leg straight. This is option 1. Option 2, you could cross that leg over to the side. Option 3, you could bend the bottom leg. It doesn't matter which variation with the legs you do. What's important is that your sit bones feel even on the floor and your spine can feel tall. Take your right hand, set up a kickstand behind you. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, twist to the right. Incorporating that left arm somehow. So you could have your hand, your left hand on the outside of the knee and kind of gently pull the knee towards the shoulder. You could have the elbow in front of the knee. Some of you might even wedge the whole arm to the outside of the knee. All variations are right. You decide how much you want to involve the neck, right? So you could just be looking over to the side. You want to add a little more of a neck stretch, you could gaze more behind you instead. Every inhale gets you a little bit taller, just maybe 0.5 millimeter. Every exhale, you could deepen the twist a little bit more. The length of the spine is the most important. One more breath here. Slowly make your way back to center. We'll take the soles of the feet together for Baddha Konasana. You decide how close the feet are to your pelvis, right? That will control the intensity of the pose. And then you also control how heavy the knees are, right? So we don't want them to be pushed down. You just want to think of them as being heavy. So we're letting gravity do the work there. You can give the bottoms of your feet a little bit of love while you're right here. They work hard for you and don't get enough attention. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold forward. So you might be here with your hands on the feet. You might have hands on the floor. You might have forearms on the floor. Some of you might have nose to toes. Anywhere in between. You want to find a place of work, but with no pain. Your body can open when it feels safe. That's when yoga does its best work. So we always want to stay away from pain. Except for that broken toe post. That doesn't feel very good, but it's pretty safe. A few more breaths here. In and out through the nose. Slow and deep and super controlled. Push your hands down into the floor to bring yourself vertical. And then use your hands to close your knees like a book. This time we'll have that left knee up, right leg straight. Option 1, 2, or 3. Sit bones even on the floor. Set up your kickstand. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, twist. Again, however you'd like to involve that right arm is up to you. And you decide how far back to look. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, maybe you deepen the twist a little bit more. We just want an upward energy on every inhale. Right? It's like the difference between wringing out a dish rag and just crumpling it up. We want to wring out the spine. We want to keep it tall. One more big breath here. Slowly turn back forward and let's get into the backs of the legs a little bit. So we'll bring both legs straight out in front. Let's lean back and give our feet a few windshield wipers. Just to get into our hip sockets a little bit, loosen everything up. Okay. Back up to vertical, sit bones even. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold forward. We just start where you first end up. Check in on things. So you have some like levers to pull here to control the intensity of this pose, right? You can decide if your feet are flexed or a little more pointed. You can decide if there's a tiny bend in the knees or not. You decide how heavy your torso is. You decide how heavy your head is. Now, using those 4 areas, make this pose work the best for your body today. And the way I like to look at that is notice where most of the sensation is, right? So if most of your sensation is behind your knees, what happens if you put little bends in them? And does that give you the opportunity to bring a little more space into the muscle instead of just the joint? So you find that place of work without pain, concentrate on the breath. Couple more breaths here. Maybe you're invited to go a little bit further, maybe not. All right, we're going to use our arm muscles to bring us back to vertical, not our back muscles. So push the arms down to bring yourself to vertical. Cross the legs. Let's just give ourselves a couple breaths here. Maybe a little movement, a little shimmy side to side, just making sure that low back feels good. Okay, we're going to make our way to our backs. You decide how much core work you'd like on the way. I'll give you a couple different options. Well, first option is you can just go to your back. Second one, you can have the feet on the floor, bring your arms in front of you and slowly make your way down. Third option, if you want a little more, you could bring the feet up, come into a boat and slowly make your way down. Always all right. We'll meet on our backs in 3 or 4 breaths. Once you're there, point the toes, bring the arms overhead. So you're making a nice long line and take a few breaths into your belly. And as you do that, make your right leg a little longer and then your left leg a little longer. So we're kind of tilting the hips here. Bring your arms down at your side and then soles of the feet on the floor. So the knees are up to the ceiling, setting up for a bridge here. So the tips of your middle fingers will graze the backs of your feet. And on the inhale, we raise the hips, pull the knees away from us, and tuck the shoulder blades a little under. Hands on the floor, palms up towards the sky. And we're trying to match the effort of this pose between the fronts of the thighs and the glutes. You could play here with lifting one heel at a time. Slowly lower the hips, untuck the shoulder blades. We'll bring our arms out to the side. Separate the feet just a little bit so they're a little wider than hips width distance. And then treat yourself to some windshield wipers. Lowering the knees left to right, whatever pace feels good. Sometimes I like to pull whatever knees on top a little bit away from me, getting into that hip flexor a little bit. You can try that if that feels nice. Next time your knees are over to the left, stay there and turn your head to the right. Just letting everything be heavy. If you have a different variation that you'd like to use in your legs, you're sure welcome to do that. You could stack the legs to the left instead. Some of you might even cross that right leg under. Big breath, soft face. Make your way back to center, back to the windshield wipers. And next time the knees are over to the right, hang out there, turn the face to the left. One more breath here. Bring everything back to center. Bring your right knee in towards your chest, your left leg straight on the floor. And if you can, we want just a little bit of pressure against the right side of the belly with the top of that right thigh. And then send your breath into the belly so you'll feel the left side of the belly expand with a breath. Let's bring that left knee in to meet the right. So both knees are in towards the chest now. Again, focusing your breath in the belly will be a little bit harder, a little compressed here. Breaths might not be quite as deep. And then we'll keep that left knee in towards the chest and straighten the right leg out on the floor. Feeling the right side of the belly expand with the inhale. Bring both knees in towards the chest and then straighten the legs up towards the ceiling. Point and flex the feet a few times. Give your ankles a few circles. Spread the toes. And then a back stretch of your choice. You could go back to the knees into the chest, both of them, or you could go into a happy baby, soles of the feet towards the ceiling, hands on the outside of the feet or the outside of the ankles, whatever feels best in your body today. And then if you like, you're welcome to add a little bit of movement. Side to side here can feel really nice using your body weight to massage your low back and your kidneys. Make our way into Shavasana when you're ready. If your body would like a little additional movement or an additional pose, go right ahead. Otherwise, we'll bring our feet hips width distance, toes hang out to the side, arms down at the side with palms up. Looking for our body to be soft here and symmetrical. So adjust so your right side feels close to the left. Bring your awareness to your breath and begin to make each inhale just a little bit deeper than the one before. Slowly working your way into the full range of your lungs. Take your time. Once you've taken a full deep breath, go ahead and introduce some movement back into your fingers and toes. Maybe turn your head side to side if that feels nice. And then using your arms to support you, slowly roll yourself over to your right hand side with bent knees and take a few breaths there. Breathing in the wisdom of our practice and the peace of our space. Breathing out anything you'd like to let go today. And when you're ready, use your arms to support you. Bring yourself up to a comfortable seat, hands at heart center. Thank you so much for joining me today to share your presence and your energy with me and with each other. Peace starts within. That means the whole world benefits a bit because you took the time for yoga today. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. Thank you so much. Thank you.